Warning: this video contains spoilers for Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is the latest game by From Software, best known for Bloodborne and the Dark Souls series. But can this game possibly live up to the hype of such a legendary developer? Yes, obviously! You play as the Wolf, the shinobi for a boy named Kuro, otherwise known as the Divine Heir. It's your job to protect him from harm and complete any task that he gives you. When Kuro is kidnapped, your first objective is to find him. Sekiro challenges the status quo immediately by removing the stamina bar, a staple from Software games. Instead, both you and enemies have a posture bar, which raises when attacks are blocked, but raises your opponent's significantly if you can parry their attacks. When the posture bar reaches its limits, a devastating attack can be triggered that will instantly kill a common enemy or deplete one whole health bar from a boss. The posture bar will naturally degrade over time, but this process will be slower as health is lowered. This system rewards aggressive play and encourages actively parrying every opponent. And I love the feeling that this creates when playing really any From Software game, from the moment that a boss bashes your face in until the time when you finally kill them after learning every technique that they can put against you. You're made better at the game through learning and determination instead of with luck. The way From Software can make you feel like almost every death is completely your own fault or your own lack of skill is just addicting. Victory is always just one more try away. If you could just be a little faster or a little smarter, it'll be yours. But that's enough praise for the game in general. Let's talk about the trophies. The game has 4 endings, each of which is tied to a trophy. The point of no return is when you'll be offered a choice by a major NPC. Giving into his demand will lead you to the Shura ending, while defying him will force you into a boss battle immediately and lead you down the path of the other 3 endings. Immediately after going down this path and defeating that boss, you should fulfill the additional requirements for the Rebirth and Purification endings, as it's fairly easy to lock yourself out of them. Then when you defeat the final boss, you can save scum for 3 endings, those 2 and the Immortal Severance ending. That means if you're save scumming, you have to complete at least 2 playthroughs. You'll also have to defeat all bosses on the same save file, and since those 2 ending paths have different bosses, you're going to need to complete all of them across any of your New Game Plus playthroughs. The game also features a significant number of mini-bosses who really are no joke in and of themselves. While you don't need to defeat all mini-bosses for any of these trophies, you will need to defeat all mini-bosses that drop a prayer bead, which is an item that increases your health and posture. There are 40 prayer beads in the world, and once you get one, it becomes unavailable in later New Game Plus versions of that save file. It'll be replaced with another item. So you're going to need to get all 40 unique prayer beads in order to get the Peak Physical Strength trophy. A similar thing happens with the Ultimate Healing Gourd trophy, which is essentially making sure your Estus Flask has the full number of charges. In this case, it's 10. The last trophy that you want to actively watch out for is Master of the Prosthetic, which requires you to upgrade all of the prosthetic tools to their limit. This will require specific upgrade materials and Sen, which is the currency in the game. While Sen is abundant enough that you don't really have to worry about it for anything, you will have to grind for some various upgrade materials. Don't worry, none of them require an intensive grind or anything like that you might remember from Dark Souls 3 or other games by From Software. In fact, the only upgrade material that I would say is worth mentioning is Lapis Lazuli, which you're going to need 10 of. But only 6 are available in each playthrough, and the Shura ending path will lock you out of getting any for that playthrough. So unless you're doing some intensive save scumming, you're really looking at 3 playthroughs. But honestly, the game is really great, and it's fun to just go through the game 4 times or more. I wound up going through 4 times because I needed to grind significantly more XP in order to unlock all the skills. I would say probably Height of Technique, which is the trophy for getting all skills, will be most people's last trophy. A lot of the skills require almost an insane amount of skill points, It doesn't make sense to me that after 3 playthroughs, I would still need to go in, do a 4th playthrough to grind some more XP to get more skill points. It's one of my bigger complaints about the game. That, and that the skills are basically useless outside of the McCurry counter. So is this the best From Software game to date? Personally, I would say no. I still love Bloodborne a lot more, but I think this is a close second. One of my bigger complaints about this game is really the lore. In Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you're part of this dying world, and all in all, your character doesn't really matter. You're kind of this insignificant person. And you go on to do these great things and defeat these legendary characters in this world and kind of gain notoriety in and of itself by all of the deeds that you achieve throughout the game. And then you kind of fade into obscurity, I like to imagine, as the games go on. I mean, just look at the Dark Souls sequels. They don't really reference your character from Dark Souls 1 all that much, except a tidbit here or there. In Sekiro, you're kind of an important guy, and the characters kind of make note of how important you are, and that kind of takes a little bit out of it for me. I don't know why. My only real complaint about gameplay, though, is that grabs are just insane. They do a ton of damage, sometimes killing you in one hit. It just seems totally unreasonable for a game that gives you answers to everything else. I mean, they make a point to say, here's a warning that this attack is unblockable, and you can parry it, or you can McCurry counter it, or you can jump over it, but a grab is kind of just get away. And I mean, maybe that's the answer for it, and I just never really got the hang of it, but the fact that it almost always kills you was kind of disappointing for me. But Sekiro, I think if you like From Software games, it is definitely worth checking out. I don't think this game is for everybody. If you don't like the parry mechanic in From Software's other games, you might not like this game. But I strongly recommend it. A+ from me. Go out and buy it. I feel like I forgot to say something, like something important about the game. Maybe it's like staring me in the face, and I'm gonna regret it if I upload this without talking about it. Ah!